Since I was a small child, nature has been my source of learning and renewal. The things I've learned from nature are currently guiding my and our work about women, justice, and leadership. Nature's three big lessons for me have been, first, that we are a part of, not apart from, nature. Everything we do occurs within nature's context and in accordance with her laws. We are part and parcel of this mysterious, ancient, and complex creation, a subset of her evolutionary genius. The same principles and guidelines that are true for nature are frequently also true of ourselves, our social organizations, and communities. Second, I learned from Janine Benyus and biomimicry that the places of greatest fertility in nature are the places where two or more ecosystems meet. The intersections where different systems come together are where nature innovates, cross-pollinates, and creates rich and abundant newness. And finally, nature shows us the value and genius of diversity. This is not a politically correct social construct. Nature gives rise to many options for adaptation as a central strategy for resilience. Diversity and redundancy and variations increase natural systems' capacity to rebound after trauma and safeguard species against extinction. Then I learned another key lesson from my own inner nature. I discovered that many of the largest impediments to my own leadership lay within my own internal landscape or story. Each time I changed my perspective, practiced self-reflection, and freed myself from a limiting narrative, my outer behavior or leadership capacity seemed to increase in clarity and vision, as did a sense of my own intrinsic value or self-worth. Women's leadership was a focus of my own learning, and so was growing within the heart of Bioneers. Since we are a subset of nature, and her laws and design strategies apply to us too, and the intersections of different systems is where really juicy stuff happens, and diversity in its broadest sense is intrinsic to how nature builds adaptability and resilience and responds to challenges. And our human nature reveals that our inner and outer worlds are interdependent, and the connection between them is rarely recognized elsewhere. So 6 years ago, I saw an opportunity. 6-day Cultivating Women's Leadership, or CWL, intensives emerged. It's been a highly collaborative process, beginning with a program created by me, Toby Hertzlick, and Akaya Windwood. And Toby and I have continued to further refine and evolve CWL ever since, through the feedback and input of participants now numbering over 200 alumna. And this year, with our two guest facilitators, Sarah Crowell of Destiny Arts and Rachel Bagby of Singing Farm. The intensive retreats are designed to free up women's greater options and possibilities while strengthening each one's sense of her own unique assignment, intrinsic value, and authentic beauty, and share an experience of how powerfully women can strengthen ourselves and each other to act effectively and purposefully on behalf of the world we yearn for. The work unearths a collectively inherited story that's seriously getting in our way, one that has pigeonholed leadership as aggressive and driven, isolated, exhausted, and stoical. Who among us really wants to be that? When I began being recognized for my leadership, though I knew I should feel honored and appreciated, instead I felt anxious and confused. That conflicted response has been reflected back by most of the women we've worked with, regardless of their previous leadership accomplishments or accolades. CWL uncovers the roots of those conflicted feelings about leadership and is helping to surface a new model or definition that offers strength, safety, new possibilities, and self-awareness, with a balance of kindness and holding each other to high standards, seasoned with tenderness, accountability, and sisterhood. We do this by finding those juicy intersections where creativity, change, and innovation thrive. We gather groups of diverse women, differing in race, age, class, sexual orientation, and ability, as well as across disciplines, work experience, and sectors. We share an experience that nourishes the internal diversity of each woman, drawing on spirit and intellect, heart and hands, left brain and right, shadow and light. We explore real-world skills like how to create feedback loops through which women grow their own and each other's abilities, and each woman travels into her own heart to shine the light on what she most loves and how that informs her purpose and her purposeful action in the world. We sit in circle together, tell each other stories and listen, sing, make art, dance, laugh, and cry in a place that offers deep connection with the natural world. Instead of difference conferring distance or separation, we savor its deliciousness, noting the expanded options it offers us with appreciation. We travel into the shadow world of women's leadership and then back to reclaim our whole selves and begin adopting a new story. We help each other, call each other out, challenge each other to bring our best, and weave ourselves into a sacred, beloved community. Women report returning differently to their homes, families, and communities, leading their organizations, businesses, or networks with greater clarity and with greater care and integration, meeting challenges more directly, including others who are different, and with a renewed sense of others at our backs. The gift, of course, of these intensives for me is that this is the medicine I've been hungering for. For myself, personally, it has meant learning to respect all the guidance within myself, including the wisdom of body, heart, and intuition, as well as my mind. Listening for both sides of my brain, analytic and metaphoric, linear and poetic. Those voices I may consider masculine and feminine and everything in between. I'm learning to dance between compassion and rigor. Practicing that balance invites the intelligence of my heart, belly, and hands, integrating my various ways of knowing to increase resilience. This leadership that's emerging from our intensives and from many of the women leaders and men who have spoken here at Bioneers and who are part of our Moonrise program, this leadership is guided by intuition, humility, and deep listening, while also being informed by experience, analysis, and consideration. When it encounters contradictory impulses or apparent paradox, it risks bridging difference with connection, leaning in close to empathically experience another's story. It resolves apparent contradiction by widening the aperture to encompass divergent views and needs. Like the spider spinning her web, Gloria Steinem wrote, we create much of the outer world from within ourselves. We make progress by spiraling back and forth between the inner world and the outer one, the personal and the political, the self, and the circumstance. Nature doesn't move in a straight line, and as part of nature, neither do we. Her words remind me of Sandra Perez, a recent Cultivating Women's Leadership alumna who wrote, "In my mind's eye, I see the rainbows of New Mexico. I remember that I am Spider-Woman. One eye does not cry in order to see. The other cries freely in order to heal." This leadership offers us the knowledge that we're all invited by all of life to bring our entire, most authentic and congruent selves to the place where what we care about most deeply connects with a need in the world and is awaiting our wholehearted engagement and action. What if we knew that those around us were invested in our success and there to help catch us when we falter and inspire us to reach for greater possibilities, and that each of us already has everything we need to bring ourselves effectively and joyfully to meeting our own unique leadership call? How might our actions be different? That's the world I'm working towards. Won't you help me to midwife or co-create it? Thank you.